Mm-hmm. Hey, how's it going there, officer? What's
How
your
you
name?
doing?
What's your name and your badge number?
Officer Bush, 4680.
Thank you so much for being professional. What's your name and badge number, sir?
Officer Hines, 04918.
Thank you so much for being professional.
I asked the young man if he needed anything when I realized that he was reporting my customers, and I'm like, I don't appreciate that. If it's anything to help you with, go ahead and let me know what you need. And he just continued recording. And the young lady that was sitting over here in line in queue, she was getting uncomfortable, you know, when your customers.
Totally
So that's not
understandable.
okay. It's not appropriate. So please can you leave the property?
Okay.
Since you are not conducting any postal business. So he refused to do so.
Okay,
I
well,
felt the need for you guys to come on by.
sounds like you need to leave the property or we're going to take you to jail.
Well, come over here. Over here. Okay. Watch this. Over here. This is.
Are you willing to press charges?
Listen.
If it is
Have
illegal.
to? Yes, sir.
Check this out.
Excellent.
We,
All right.
you know, we can't have
Can we get a supervisor? Can we
We
get
can
a,
talk outside.
no, right here? Listen, no. This is poster 7. This is the rules and
But she
regulations.
said you're not conducting any postal business.
Listen to me, sir.
Okay, let's talk outside.
But this is the rule.
Go.
The encounter begins calmly as the individual respectfully greets the responding officers and immediately requests their names and badge numbers, thanking them for identifying themselves. A postal employee then explains why law enforcement was called, claiming the man had been recording inside the lobby and that several customers appeared uncomfortable with the camera. According to the employee, he was asked to leave because he was not conducting postal business, but he declined, as officers warned that refusing to leave could lead to arrest. The man repeatedly requests a supervisor and points toward Postal Service regulations that he believes allow photography inside publicly accessible areas.
There you go.
Listen, look at
your
this.
vehicle.
Look at this. That's the rules and regulations saying I can't record, sir. You didn't. You skipped.
But you're not.
I was just
You're
trying
not
to show.
conducting
I did. I asked her for a passport. I left and gave the lady her own personal space.
That's not what
you
you
just
told
grabbed my arm. I
Yes,
got
ma'am.
everything on camera. Can we
Yes,
get a
so do I.
supervisor? Can we get a supervisor out here, please?
Well,
Please.
you need to leave.
This is public property.
No,
That's
it's
a
not.
lobby.
No, it is not. This is a private business.
Actually a private
Li-
entity.
li-
I know
li-
it says United States Postal Service,
Listen,
but it's actually a private entity.
You were told to leave. You did not leave.
Listen real quick,
Are
sir.
you refusing to leave now?
I'll under threat of arrest, I'll leave. But listen,
Okay, good.
But
Go.
listen, there's a poster 7 in there that says I have the. Just go look, sir. Can you please go look?
But here's the one thing I do know. I understand if this was a government building. I understand if this was a police station. I understand all that on a government building. Yes.
And one more thing, sir. You know, right now I'm doing a protected activity,
No, but-
First Amendment,
no,
freedom of the press. This is freedom of the
You've been
press.
told to leave. You refuse to leave.
That was our first time ever saying to leave, sir. I got everything
But
on
the Uni-
camera.
Right, but the United States Postal Service actually is a private entity. It's not. I understand it says government, United States Postal Service, but it's actually a private entity.
Okay.
So it's not like.
Outside the entrance, the discussion quickly shifts into a disagreement over whether the property should be treated as public or private. The man argues that posted regulations permit photography in designated lobby areas and claims an officer grabbed his arm before allowing him to explain. While officers continue insisting he must leave after the postal employee's request, he states that he will comply only under threat of arrest and again asks that a supervisor review the posted policy. The exchange remains focused on differing interpretations of the property's rules and the limits of lawful enforcement.
Please, I'm gonna go stand on the sidewalk.
We've
but,
got a supervisor in the room.
and I'm gonna go stand on the sidewalk because you did tell me to leave. But when I go stand on the sidewalk, can you please? That's the rules and regulations of postal property. There's a section for photos and photography. Can you please read that? It says I can take it in the foyer, lobbies, entrances.
Okay.
It's right there. I'm gonna go stand there. We're gonna wait on your supervisor, and they're gonna let you guys know. Wow, man, you put your hands on me. That's an assault, man. If I haven't committed a crime. You can't walk me out. You can't put your hands on nobody. Ooh, buddy. Ooh, buddy. How you doing, sir? You sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Gerder, how may I help you?
Hey, can I get your name and badge number of close just for the record?
My name? I just told you. My name
I
is
couldn't hear with the
I'm
wind.
Sergeant Gerder. My badge number is 4944, serial number.
Yes, sir. I came in here today just to kind of get some public information. I know I have every right to record in here. It's actually have a poster 7 in there with the rules and regulations on postal property, saying that photos and photography may be taken in the lobbies, foyers, and corridors. Clear as day. Right when I walked in.
As a supervisor arrives, The individual moves toward the sidewalk while continuing to insist that the posted regulations specifically authorize photography in postal lobbies, foyers, and entrances. He alleges that physical contact was unnecessary and asks the supervising sergeant for his name and badge number before calmly explaining his side of the incident. According to his account, he entered only to gather public information, briefly asked about passport services, and began documenting the visit. He says the confrontation started when an employee challenged his recording, despite his efforts to respect another customer's personal space.
She triggered the issue. She said, hey, what are you doing here? I said, I'm just recording. She's like, well, you can't record here. You can't record my customers. She said, this lady do not want to be recorded. The lady didn't even say nothing yet. But I even left the building just to give the lady her privacy, which I really don't even have. I didn't have to do that. Anything I see in public, I can record. That was just a little lobby. I wasn't going to be in there that long. Look how little it is. There's nothing in there. But I did ask them for a passport. They let me know I have to go to another building. I couldn't even get public information to ask them. I'm just documenting as I'm handling my business. These gentlemen, I forget his name, but he actually grabbed me and pulled me out the office. Not even letting me show him the rules and regulations on postal property. This is a First Amendment protected activity. You cannot turn that into a crime. You and the postal people took an oath to uphold the Constitution. And you pulled me out the building, sir, when I'm telling you I have the right to do so.
You weren't leaving when you told me.
I don't have to leave. They can't make me leave just because I got a black shirt on. I have to commit a crime for you to make me leave this property.
They ask you to leave.
They can't just ask me to leave. No, it's not. That's not how trespass works, sir. If I'm at the police department, you can't just say, hey, leave.
The conversation concludes with an extended debate over constitutional rights, trespass laws, and the officer's authority to remove someone from the property. The man argues that documenting activity in a publicly accessible government facility is protected under the First Amendment and maintains that he had not committed any crime. He also claims officers prevented him from showing the applicable postal regulations before escorting him outside. The supervising officer responds that the issue centers on the refusal to leave after being instructed, leaving the disagreement unresolved as both sides continue defending their interpretation of the law.
Or if you're causing the disturbance,
I didn't cause
people feel uncomfortable.
I didn't.
That's another
Come on, Sarge.
situation.
Come on, Sarge. Now I'm not making nobody uncomfortable by recording. You can't turn protected activity into a crime.
You're absolutely right. You can record anybody you want,
and I didn't say
not
nothing.
Interfering with anybody's work or anything like that.
They came out to me.
Okay, all right.
It's a little lobby, sorry. Once you walk in there, you see it's little. It's nothing too much you can do or say. I just had a couple questions. I was in there 20 seconds, and the lady ran out to me. 20 seconds.
You got that on your phone?
I got that. See, the lady was outside. She was outside getting something out somebody's car. So when I walked in, she came in right behind me and was like, hey, what are you doing? You can't record. So, and what's your name again? Your name and badge number?
Officer Bush, 462.
Bush put his hands on me and pulled me out the office.
Yes, it did. Because you refused
They
to
wanted
leave
you
when I
to
told
leave,
you.
but I'm going to go talk. I haven't talked to the manager, so I'm going to go.
Okay. And you gotta let him know, just because they want me to leave minus a crime, that you can't do that.
Trespassing is a crime.
Trespassing is a crime, but I wasn't trespassing. You gotta commit a crime first. You gotta commit a crime first, sir.
The discussion continues as officers explain that recording itself is not necessarily the issue, but that creating a disturbance or making customers feel uncomfortable could justify intervention. The man strongly disagrees, insisting that simply filming in a public area cannot be treated as criminal conduct. He maintains that he never interfered with employees or customers and says he remained inside the lobby for only a brief moment before stepping outside to respect another person's privacy. Throughout the exchange, he repeatedly requests accountability, asking officers for their names while alleging that he was unnecessarily escorted from the building.
25 years, and you ain't got that. Was you able to see poster 7?
Say again?
Was you able to see the rules and regulations on the wall?
Did you also see the rules about disorderly conduct and if you're impeding customers doing
I didn't
business?
say nothing to nobody, sir. Right when I walked in, the lady she came outside. So right when I came in, she came right behind me. I didn't even know who she was. She just started talking to me. She could have been a customer. I don't know. Once I noticed that the lady was really just uncomfortable, I went outside so she can handle her business, and then just came back, and I only hung around because they said they was calling you guys.
Right now, you're on the sidewalk anyway. You're on public property. And here's the deal: in that foyer is public property. You're correct about that. But the issue is when you're making customers uncomfortable. That's a prohibited act, which is on that rules and regulations. If you're impeding any business, any customers doing business, that's a prohibited act. That's on that rules and regulations.
This is a First Amendment protected activity. You cannot turn a First Amendment protected activity into a crime. That's public property. I'm not saying nothing. I can record.
The conversation shifts toward the posted postal regulations as the man asks whether the supervising officer reviewed the photography policy displayed inside the facility. The sergeant responds that he also considered provisions addressing disorderly conduct and interference with customers conducting business. While acknowledging that the lobby is publicly accessible, the supervisor argues that behavior affecting patrons may still violate operational rules. The man rejects that interpretation, explaining that he neither spoke to customers nor disrupted services, insisting instead that he peacefully documented his visit while exercising what he describes as a constitutionally protected activity.
Don't overrule my constitutional right. So if you're uncomfortable with me recording you and we're in public, you go to Disneyland with your kids and you about to take a picture. You gonna make everybody behind you sign a waiver? They uncomfortable being on your...
Let me read the actual word.
Come on, Sergeant. Come on, get them. This is public. This is public
You're right,
property.
it is a public building, but if you're making people uncomfortable, I'll read this to you so you can get it all on your disorderly conduct.
I'm not impeding.
That creates loud or unusual noise, or which impedes entrance or departure to post offices, or otherwise obstructs the usual use of...
I didn't do none of that.
Foyers, corridors,
I didn't do none of that.
Elevators, stairways,
None of that.
parking lots, or which otherwise tend to impede or disturb the public.
I didn't do none of that.
You just said in your own words that you made that gal uncomfortable.
I didn't do none of that.
Which is their right to do, in order to ensure that the post office operates as well as it can. Now you're out here, you can record all you want. We can't keep you from going back in there now once we leave. But again, if you continue to do the acts that make people uncomfortable, make the workers and make the public in general uncomfortable when they go in there to conduct...
As the debate intensifies, both sides focus on the balance between public access and maintaining order inside the post office. The supervisor reads portions of the regulations concerning disorderly conduct, obstruction, and actions that may interfere with the normal use of the facility. The man repeatedly responds that none of those descriptions match his behavior, arguing that another person's discomfort alone should not limit lawful recording in a public place. The discussion remains respectful, but reveals two fundamentally different interpretations of how the posted policies should be applied in practice.
I'm sure we're going to be called back out here, and then we'll call the postal inspector and have them come and take care of it.
Okay. And again, one more thing, you guys.
You already have this info?
Yes,
No, we've not.
You just want to give it? Do you want to provide us your information?
Am I obligated? Okay. So can I go back in there?
It's only fair since you got all our information.
You're public. You're a public servant. I'm private.
Back on settle.
He said I can go back in there. He said he's gonna leave.
We can't stop at this point. I mean, that's right.
Damn, look at this dude.
That's like I said.
Wow, man, this. Oh, man, he wanted to make an arrest so bad. Wow.
As the encounter comes to a close, officers explain that future complaints could result in the postal inspector becoming involved if similar concerns arise again. They ask whether the man wishes to provide his identification, but he questions whether he is legally required to do so before confirming that he intends to return inside once the officers leave. Although no arrest is ultimately made, the interaction ends with lingering frustration on both sides. The disagreement over photography rights, customer complaints, and enforcement authority remains unresolved, leaving viewers to consider the legal and practical questions raised by the encounter.